My journey is a 21st century David and Goliath story, relevant to the daily lives of people all around the globe. I will tell you my story of how and why I challenged the condom industry. It's my story of change worth fighting for. One day Jack came and told me he wanted to be a ballet dancer. So he had no dance experience whatsoever. And he got a set of weights, started working out for 3 or 4 months, and shortly thereafter he auditioned for the New Orleans Ballet. And he made it into the company. And about a year later, he decided to really get bold, and he auditioned for the Joffrey Ballet in New York. And he got the part. I was really proud of him for following his dream, and he still inspires me today. Uh, 1981, that was Jack's birthday party. Hey Jack, how you doing, buddy? So much has happened, I don't know where to start. I'm here in Vienna. I'm going to the Life Ball and a big black tie party with a lot of celebrities tomorrow night. Most of the celebrities you haven't heard of: President Clinton, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. They're singers. You'd really like them. I think Greg Louganis and Brooke Shields are going to be there too. Life Ball is a little like the Satyricon Ball that we went to in New Orleans, only grander, bigger, way over the top. I remember all the fashion tips you told me. You should see the jacket I'm going to wear tomorrow. Ivory wool with 9 silk buttons on the sleeves by Takahiro Miyashita. Now I'll have an answer if they ask me who I'm wearing. Hey, if you were here now, we could get married. Yeah, gay guys get married now. We have so much to talk about. Let's talk after the party tomorrow. Mostly I want to tell you I miss you, Jack, every day. Love you, buddy. In July of '82, Jack invited me to join him and his friends from New York on a visit to Cape Cod. I flew up from New Orleans, and Jack was a no-show. And this was pretty awkward because I didn't know anybody, and I was Jack's guest, so it was before cell phones and text messaging. And I reached out to his sister Jane in New York, and she said that Jack had gone to the doctor to take care of a really bad flu. She thought he'd recover by the end of the week and join me on Cape Cod by Saturday. Coincidentally, there were news reports in the media about a new gay disease happening in New York and San Francisco. And the media called it GRID, an acronym for Gay-Related Immune Deficiency. The scientific community realized that that was misleading, and by the end of the month, they had changed the name to AIDS. By September, Jack was diagnosed with AIDS. President Reagan avoided the topic like the plague. It was a re-election year, and it wasn't a great campaign strategy to support research for a gay disease. Jack died in November after we said goodbye at the hospital in New York. Reagan was re-elected in' Fast forward 10 years, everyone has been warned about wearing condoms, which actually made sense then because it was the only option available. I was condom vigilant after I lost Jack, until one day a condom I used broke, and suddenly I was HIV positive. My world looked very bleak. Luckily, that happened just when the new drug cocktails were introduced, and I'm here today as a victor rather than a victim. Not everybody has been that lucky. We've lost thousands of people, innocent, heroic lives, and many icons when the drugs do not work for them long term. The idea of the rolled condom developed around 1902, right around when the Wright brothers developed the first airplane. Aviation technology has advanced and propelled us through space. We've landed on the moon, and we just returned from Mars. During that same time frame, the condom has remained essentially the same, with the exception of colors and flavors. The rolled condom was industrialized by 1920 and has remained unchallenged since then, almost 100 years. Condoms hold a unique position among consumer products with a long history of complaints and consumer dissatisfaction. The condom industry was disrupted in 1972 with the introduction of the pill for contraception. Almost overnight, condom sales fell dramatically, and smaller companies went out of business. The other companies were bought up by the three major brands that monopolize the industry today. So how did the rolled condom reposition itself as a phoenix rising from the ashes of the 70s and become the leading form of protection again after the pill? The 80s. One of the most devastating diseases to affect humanity, AIDS. Then I discovered there was something inherently wrong with the condom narrative. We've been conned by the condom industry and subsequently by well-meaning global healthcare agencies. The CDC evaluates contraceptive effectiveness of condoms at an 18% failure rate. Think about that for a minute. Imagine the possibility of other products that we would accept with an 18% failure rate. How about traffic lights? Can you imagine traffic lights failing 82% of the time? Or how about pacemakers? Too obvious. It would never happen. There are no products other than condoms that we could accept with an 18% failure rate. But the FDA and the CE mark here in Europe accept this threshold at 82% effectiveness for condoms. If the spread of HIV and unplanned pregnancies are forecast exponentially, the future holds a very unmanageable, it's unmanageable for us at that rate. But really, the biggest problem with condoms has not been their clinical failure rate. The bigger issue is that they make no sense in terms of their functionality. And here's why the rolled condom is flawed, dysfunctional, and categorically wrong. It's the lollipop lie. Okay, reach under the front of your chair, and some of you may have received a lollipop See if you find it. If you found one, taste it through the wrapper and tell the person next to you what flavor it is. My theory is that it cannot be done. It does not matter how micro-thin that wrapper is, you will never taste the flavor through the wrapper. Yet, condom manufacturers spend millions of dollars every year to perpetuate this myth that you, the consumer, should be able to taste the lollipop through the wrapper. The penis is one of our most sensitive and intuitive organs in the human body, hardwired to the brain and inherently equipped for sensation, arousal, and movement. But sustaining all of those extraordinary sensory capacities was never a concern in the 1920s. The old condom defeats the natural order of human sexual anatomy, overlooking what I call the fluid factor. It never occurred to anyone how significant that missing link would be for consumer acceptability. Society wasn't even discussing sex openly in the 1920s, and the condom industry got a free pass to perpetuate the lollipop lie. When I prepared my talk for today, I was challenged to find visuals that conveyed the excitement and exhilaration of the human sexual experience and still avoid the pornographic image. Could you articulate in just a single word the essence of the human sexual experience? Listen to someone who does.
I think the women are pretty satisfied.
Are you sure that they're genuinely satisfied? That they're not pretending to be satisfied?
Saying that they're faking?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I could tell. I could tell.
Okay. Oh. All right.
You all right?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yes. 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 Yes.
Now you can describe sex to aliens with one word, yes. Didn't expect to leave with that nugget of wisdom at the TED Talk, did you? So a quick snapshot of the condom industry shows the market is dominated by three major sellers, Trojan, Lifestyles, and Durex. They collectively hold 90% of the condom market, worth $5 billion annually. These brands inherently defy innovation because they have a codependent relationship with the rolled condom, the old condom. The three publicly traded companies are responsible to stockholders, not to consumers. Collectively, the big three oligarchs monopolize the market with one product, one type of product that's over 100 years old. So given one, universal dissatisfaction with rolled condoms. 2, the CDC reported 18% failure rate. 3, a monopolized industry that self-limits innovation. And 4, my HIV diagnosis from a broken condom. And I decided it was time for a condom revolution. Let's face it, rolled is old. My idea was simple. A moving, folding, slide-on condom with a lubricated internal surface that replicated the fluid factor. The fluid factor that rolled condoms could never achieve. It created sensation from inside instead of from outside. Watch this brief demo to illustrate the point.
And it dawns in a single movement of 2.8 seconds. As you can see, rolled latex takes a little bit longer. The reciprocating movement of the origami condom interacts with our anatomy. It consistently folds and unfolds along its pleats. The open end of the condom provides a snug fit that prevents it.
Eventually, I proposed my idea to the NIH, and they funded the product development and clinical trials. In 2010, I was made aware of a stunning revelation that most condom users and even HIV prevention agencies were never told. A secret that has been swept under the rug for decades. Condom makers are not obligated to provide safety data for anal sex. This is considered an off-label use by the FDA and the CE mark here in Europe. They do not require clinical testing data as long as the condom is sold as contraception. Anal sex is a more rigorous activity than vaginal sex, making condom breakage more likely. The condom industry conveniently avoids this marketing nightmare. Actually, the largest market for an anal sex condom, surprisingly, is not the gay consumer because of the disproportionate populations, gay 10%, heterosexual 90%. Anal sex is practiced by heterosexual populations worldwide as a form of birth control or just for pleasure. So I decided to push the envelope. I was not part of the big three condom magnets, and I didn't have anything to lose. So we set the bar higher and clinically tested the first design-specific condom for anal sex, which we expect to reach the market by next year. When I first suggested my ideas for new condoms, most people were baffled. First question I'm asked all the time is, what could possibly be different about a condom? It's been so unimaginable because there's never been anything to compare it with. One critical point consistent with the evolution of any successful consumer product is change. New models, new styles come out every year that improve the quality and value of products. And typically, those changes are consumer-driven. Sadly, the rolled condom remains one of the very few exceptions to change because the industry is manipulated and monopolized by three major brands. Change is not easy. Change is a difficult choice, and many times we have to fight to make change happen. Larry Kramer's new film, The Normal Heart, has a tagline, "To win a war, you have to start one." That's what Larry did in the 80s with ACT UP. Each of us can be a vocal warrior for change, whether we're political activists or simply consumers demanding an alternative to the old rolled condom. We didn't know it in the 80s, but Jack and I and thousands of others became the storyline for The Normal Heart. Our circumstances then inspired a declaration of war that is fought on three fronts: education, prevention, and treatment. We're winning that war thanks to the courage of Larry Kramer and thanks to people like you. Now this series talk about the end of AIDS, a farewell tour. Not like Cher's farewell tour, but real end to the AIDS. My task is about prevention, although my mission is to change the decades-old narrative from protection and obligation to choosing a more pleasurable sexual experience. I hope you can join me and Jack to demand the change we deserve as consumers. Do not accept the status quo. Do not accept mediocrity. I hope you each have a voice in the new condom revolution that helps create change worth fighting for. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.